the evolution of the fife and drum combination as a functional way to set the beat for marching, to air out the calls, the signals, to deliver orders to the soldiers, whether it's during battle or at the camp. The revelry, taps, actually tap 2, related to taps is the time you turn the taps 2, stop drinking and go to bed. That's just a military signal that the drums primarily and the fifes as color instruments would help communicate these signals. And that's what really helped, I think, the Americans win the American Revolution, was the installation of a real military level of discipline in what's called the field music, the fifes and drums. The fifers and drummers were actually soldiers. They were privates. They were paid as privates in the army. And they often had other duties besides playing their musical instruments, including burying the dead. Musicians always get to do the good stuff on the side, right? But anyway, so they had those functions of helping to drive the communication, especially during the campaigns and at the campgrounds and during battle. In addition to that, little known are what's became known as the band of music, and that sounds a bit redundant. There's a German term, Harmoniemusik, which represented a sort of a specialized ensemble. Mozart and Haydn wrote military concertos, for instance. And this is music sort of inspired by the military instruments, the oboe, the bassoon, the clarinet. These are the louder outdoor instruments that didn't have the functions of the fife and drums. Instead, their functions were ceremonial. And they would play the official music, say, when George Washington was marching into town. The Harmoniemusik guys, who were not soldiers, they were not paid as privates, they were private citizens who were paid out of the pockets of the officers, sort of as an ornament of that upper class life. And these bands of music were super important. They're what it would evolve into the militia bands, leading up to the War of 1812. After that time, when brass instruments evolved to become more versatile, they evolved into brass bands of Robert Gilmore and, more famously, John Philip Sousa. So the American tradition of band music is very much rooted in the revolutionary wind bands, or band of music as they called them then, not the fifes and drums.